welcome to NTA Nationwide News at 4. I am Ogwa Vivian Onyedibia. The Monetary Policy Committee has unanimously retained the monetary policy at 14% as well as other economic parameters at the current rate. Briefing the media at the end of the bi-monthly meeting of the committee, Governor of the CBN, Godwin Emefiele, assured that the decision was premised on the fact that the microeconomic policies so far adopted have resulted in more favorable economic outlook and the need to sustain the momentum. The committee therefore retained MPR at 14%, CRR at 22.5%, liquidity ratio at 30%. The CBN governor is optimistic that Nigeria will be out of recession by the end of Q4 based on the favorable economic indicators.
Available data and various forecasts of key economic variables, as well as assessments of government initiatives, including the recently released Federal Government Economic Recovery and Growth Plan, all point to prospects of recovery in 2017. The committee expects that the timely implementation of this plan and timely and judicious execution of the approved 2017 budget and sustenance of the new foreign exchange implementation regime, supported by the restoration of security in different parts of the country, especially in the Niger Delta region, would help accelerate growth and restore confidence in the economy.
Meanwhile, state governments have been urged to key into the economic recovery growth plan of the federal government to ensure inclusive growth in the nation's economy. Minister of Budget and National Planning Udoma was speaking at the second edition of Kano State Economic and Investment Summit 2017. Joy Uzo has details.
With the theme, Transforming the Kano Economy, Turning Challenges into Opportunities, the second edition of the Kano Economic and Investment Summit opened with stakeholders from different strata of the economy discussing avenues to improve business activities in the state. Minister of Budget and National Planning Udoma described the forum as a means to brainstorm on ways to boost economic activities, not just in Kano, but other parts of Nigeria.
I am pleased to inform you that the federal government is setting aside funds in the 2017 budget to provide infrastructure for the revival of the free trade zone in Kano.
Other speakers at the event were of the opinion that Nigeria is lagging behind in industrialization, being largely a consumer nation. They called for intensified effort to change the trend, as well as the need to make funds available to agriculturalists to boost the diversification drive.
We know our people are not greedy. Only the elites have that tendency to acquire so much. We therefore must concentrate on the little businesses that we have known for centuries.
As a government, we realize that without aggressive reforms to diversify the economy and boost internally generated revenue, all our programs and projects will remain sheer dreams. It is for this reason that we are reducing our dependency on the Federation account and adopted a revenue-driven budgetary implementation.
Kano goat skin is Moroccan leather, the best leather in the world. We can produce all the shoes we need in this country, all the bags we need in this country. Imagine the number of children who go to school just producing leather shoes for primary school children in Nigeria. It's a massive industry.
Must key into the federal government's Economy Recovery and Growth Plan, ERGP for short, and focus particularly on those 6 priority areas of agricultural, manufacturing, solid mineral services, construction and real estate.
The second edition of the Kano State Economic and Investment Summit comes 11 years after the first one. In Abuja, Joy Uzo, NTA News.
And away from that, counter-radicalism, strategic communication, Cooperation among security operatives, as well as multinational and multilateral levels approach, have been identified as pivotal for Nigeria to achieve a national framework and preventive plan against violent extremism. This was at a national workshop on preventing violent extremism through effective narratives and messaging by the Office of the National Security Advisor to the President. Olajide Bello reports.
Violent extremism, which is a global phenomenon, contributes to poor economic performance, loss of lives and property, displacement and health challenges. The need for government and the community to work together to address inequality, injustice and insecurity and youth vulnerability has become imperative. It is in view of this that a workshop to fashion out modalities towards addressing violent extremism was put together.
Communicating our values effectively is critical to defeating the ideology of terror, and without fear, we must all rise to our responsibilities.
A coordinated approach to countering violent extremism in a manner that can amplify all of the efforts that we are making and amplify the results.
And the idea for the workshop is to bring together representatives from the national government and also civil society to discuss, strategies for countering and preventing violent extremism.
The Catholic Archbishop of Abuja, John Cardinal Onaeko, speaks on using religion as a tool in the fight against violent extremism.
It is important, therefore, to identify how much of these things moving them comes really from religion, and if it is religion badly understood, to find a way of correcting it.
A communique which will serve as a blueprint in formulating national framework and preventive plan against violent extremism in Nigeria is expected. In Abuja, Olajide Bello, NTA News.
The Senate has called on the National Security Advisor to alert all security agencies and financial institutions in the country about the current and threatening dimensions of cyber attacks. The call followed a motion moved by Senator Buhari Abdulfatah, Oyo North, on the urgent need for concrete efforts to secure Nigeria's cyberspace.
Mandate the Senate Committee on ICT and Cybercrime to immediately convoke a national stakeholder conference on cybersecurity with a view to stimulating a collective reflection among relevant stakeholders and articulating a national broad-based approach to keeping the country ahead of challenges.
Well, while presiding, Deputy Senate President Ike Ekweremadu reiterated the need to protect the country's strategic institutions from possible attacks.
Warnings has been issued that there is an incoming cyber war. Just as we are getting ready, and then prepared against the conventional war, we must also be getting ready, and also prevent, possible cyber attack.
Meanwhile, as the increase of ransomware attacks continue to pose threats to global security, the need to deepen the understanding of the legal and regulatory framework on cybercrime and financial fraud in Nigeria has been emphasized. This formed the thrust of discussion at the second annual conference on financial fraud and cybercrime in Abuja. Aliu Tukur has the details.
Recent ransomware attack known as WannaCry and other forms of malwares. No doubt there is need to understand the cybersecurity trends in Nigeria and globally, its impact on national security and economy as well. Against this backdrop, the Ministry of Justice, together with National Information Technology Development Agency and the organized private sector, came up with this conference for the second time. The conference is to give participants the opportunity to determine the prevalence and patterns, analyze the causes and proffer policy recommendations on tackling the security issues that confront the international community and Nigeria. Minister of Justice and Minister of Communication, who were represented, agreed that apart from fast-tracking the implementation of the Cybercrime Act, there is also need to create public enlightenment in order to tackle the problem.
I wish to call on all participants in this conference to review the extent to which different actors have implemented the different mandates under the Cybersecurity Act.
In a country like Nigeria, many people are online but do not know even the ethics of how to secure even their personal email address.
Both the ambassador of the United States of America and the British High Commissioner promised to work with Nigeria to strengthen and enhance existing legal framework.
Nigeria is also a nation with exceptional capacity to do good with computers and the internet, software and content.
At the end of the conference, participants are expected to come up with a clear roadmap on how to tackle the challenges. In Abuja, Aliu Tukur, NTA News.
Moving ahead, the House of Representatives Committee on Federal Character has expressed the determination to unveil the truth on the allegations of irregularities on the recent recruitment exercise by the National Agency for Food and Drug Administration and Control, NAFDAC. This declaration came up when the House committee visited the agency on oversight function. National Assembly correspondent Kenneth Nanim reports.
This is not the first time the committee is meeting with the NAFDAC officials. They met on the 11th of May 2017, during which they demanded a number of documents to enable it carry out a thorough investigation on the alleged irregularities in the process of the recent recruitment by the agency. But the response of the management of the agency was not satisfactory. On this visit, similar demands were put forward before the officials. They include nominal role of the agency, recruitment distribution template of the 143 staff recruited according to states and local governments, approved distribution template by the Federal Character Commission for all recruitment exercise conducted according to states and local governments. Other requirements are all correspondences on the 2016 recruitment with the Federal Ministry of Health, adverse placement on national dailies, and the staff files of the newly recruited.
So what's going to be difficult now to provide us with the list of what we have asked? Is it the minutes of the meeting? Is it the list of the people that attended the interview? They should be there in the cabinet. Every information we requested should be located here. That's why we're here.
The acting DG was not around. She was away in Yobe. And the minuted paper did not get to the deputy director in charge of admin and HR until Mr.
No, sorry, please, don't go that way.
The agency, having acknowledged receipt of the committee's letter since the 12th of May 2017, assured compliance. For further dialogue on the matter, the committee rescheduled for 23rd of May 2017 to meet with the officials of the agency at the National Assembly. Kenneth Nanim, NTA News.
A total of 1,000 former agitators under the Presidential Amnesty Program are being deployed for training at the International Institute of Tourism and Hospitality in Yenagoa, Bayelsa State. The training is projected to explore the diverse business opportunities inherent in the rich cultural heritage of African societies, while particularly emphasizing the peculiarity of the Niger Delta ecosystem for tourism. Nnamdi Odipo has the report.
The training officially begins with 100 delegates, most of whom will be mentored on catering, fashion design and tourism. The special advisor to the president on Niger Delta and coordinator of the Presidential Amnesty Program, Brigadier General Paul Boro, described the training as a good example of homegrown human capacity development aimed at helping the youth develop skills capable of improving their lives and the local economy. He was emphatic on the immense opportunities in tourism in Nigeria and the need for growing a breed of core professionals in the hospitality sector. He said the training at the institute is imperative as the participating youth will form part of the labor market to nurture a vibrant tourism and hospitality industry.
I want to urge you all that are involved in this program to take this program very serious, as the certificates you will be issued at the end of your recertification program is recognized across Nigeria and beyond.
The state government was represented at the event by the Commissioner for Tourism and Development, Ebiere Irene Musa. The training for each batch of delegates at the institute will last for 1 month. The presidential aide, Brigadier General Paul Boro, has also called for an increase in youth economic empowerment initiatives in the Niger Delta. He made the call shortly after commissioning some fish farms and commodity shops in Okrika River State, designed as business empowerment startup kits for 40 ex-agitators who recently concluded their vocational training under the Presidential Amnesty Program. Nnamdi Odikwo, NTA News.
Well, it's time now to join Jennifer in our Lagos Network Center as she brings us details of reports making the rounds from that zone. Hello, Jennifer.
Thank you, Ogwa. Good evening and welcome to Lagos. As Muslims prepare for the holy month of Ramadan, activities are already on top gear to launch the faithful into the month. In this vein, a pre-Ramadan lecture was organized in Lagos by the University of Lagos Muslim alumni. Musa Toliat reports that the guest lecturer, a professor at the International Islamic University in Malaysia, advised Muslims to acquire knowledge in order to understand emerging world issues.
Professor Hassan Ibrahim, who spoke on the topic, the emerging world order, issues and concern for Muslims, said, acquiring knowledge about globalization and political intrigues between the West and the East will put Muslims in a good position to handle challenges confronting the Islamic faith. He, however, said the negative perception about Islam can be corrected when Muslims wrestle the faith from the hands of insurgents who misinform and perpetrate evil in the name of Islam.
It is important that Muslims in general and Muslims in the West should explain the real, true message of Islam, which is for peace, which is for tolerance, which is for living with others.
Professor Taufik Abdulaziz of the University of Abuja, who also spoke at the event, laid emphasis on the quality and content of lectures delivered by Islamic scholars and urged them to reflect the true teachings of Islam.
Some of the things that are teaching them, especially the youth, are directly anti-Islam. The result will always be this crisis that we are facing. We have to know, and knowing is not just by going to school, it is by learning under a teacher, a real human teacher.
You determine who you are. The way we relate, if I exhibit true Islamic characters, values, virtues, everybody will love to be a Muslim. If we don't, that's when somebody can give you a name.
The event featured presentation of scholarship to some Muslim students at PhD and master's level, while free medical tests and consultation were offered to participants at the annual pre-Ramadan lecture. In Lagos, Musa Toliat, NTA News.
The Federal Road Safety Corps in Lagos has debunked assertion in certain quarters that the state government has banned their operations on Lagos roads. The zonal commanding officer in charge of Lagos and Ogun states, Corps Marshal Shehu Zaki, cleared the air while fielding questions from journalists in Lagos. Emil Dori compiled the report.
The law establishing the Federal Road Safety Commission empowers it to carry out certain functions regarding safety on the highways, some of which are traffic management, prevention, and minimizing accidents on the highways. Others are supervision of users of such highways, regulation of traffic, and clearing of obstruction on any part of the highways across the country. The Zonal Commanding Officer, FRSC in charge of Lagos and Ogun, Shehu Zaki, also react.
FRSC is advised to work on the fringe and at the same time consider shifting their operations to federal highways. This is exactly what the state governor sees. Never has he indicated, or in fact, that FRSC should completely leave city roads.
He explained that the FRSC is not in any way trying to oppose the move by the state government, but rather to complement the activities of the established traffic agencies in the states. The Federal Road Safety Commission has also been saddled with the responsibility of educating drivers and motorists, as well as other members of the public, on proper use of the highways.
Now to an important national symbol. The Nigerian flag is one of the nation's symbol of authority and pride. As a result, the flag deserves absolute respect from all Nigerians. This, however, is not the case, as the flag is being abused, especially by most corporate organizations that hoist it in their premises. Abolade Salami reports on the abuse of the national flag and what could be the possible reason for this.
the Union flag flying for the last time.
The lowering of the British Union Jack and hoisting of the green-white-green flag on October 1, 1960 symbolically marked the attainment of independence and sovereignty of Nigeria. Ever since Nigeria's sovereignty was handed over by Princess Alexander Kent to Nigerian first Prime Minister Sir Abubakar Tafawa Balewa, Nigerian flag was hoisted with pride and dignity. While placing high premium on the sovereignty of the land, government formulated certain rules to be followed on the national symbol while hoisting the national flag. The flag, government said, should be ceremoniously flown in the morning during sunrise and lowered at sunset. But what is the situation like in recent times? Investigations revealed that the national symbol is badly abused, as some are either defaced, tattered, torn, or dirty.
The people in charge, they're supposed to take note about it, because if it's dirty, they know to change it. So they know to clean it. Even if okay, as you that one day now, you see some tear, you see some half.
It shouldn't be dirty, number one. And the way we are doing handle our things in this country, we don't handle it properly as the way it's supposed to be.
What is the organization saddled with the responsibility of ensuring the appropriate handling of the national symbol doing to address this abuse?
We are very worried with the way Nigeria's national symbols are being handled.
National symbol in Lagos, Abolade Salami, NTA News.
You're still watching the NTA Nationwide News. Now to go back to Ogwa in Abuja for more Nationwide News. Ogwa.
Thank you, Jennifer. To judicial matters now, Chief Justice of Nigeria, Justice Walter Onoge, has commended courts that have introduced the e-filing system as part of their court processes. He gave the commendation in a message to the National Workshop for Information Technology staff of Nation's Judiciary. Femi Okewo reports.
The third arm of government is organizing any form of training at the national level for its information and technology staff. And that is happening now, as the CJN says, because with the Judicial Information Technology Policy, this crop of people are now very critical to justice dispensation in Nigeria.
The use of information and communication technology will also make the administration of justice cheaper, efficient, and readily accessible.
The theme of the workshop is Information and Communication Technology as a catalyst for better justice delivery.
The ongoing reforms in the judiciary in Nigeria under the Judicial Information Technology Policy reinforces the need for staff of the judiciary to constantly improve on their competence and capabilities in this area.
Participants at the national workshops are expected to replicate this training in various parts of the country they come from. In Abuja, Femi Okewo, NTA News.
The Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC, has taken the campaign to support the fight against corruption to the streets in Abuja, saying it is more determined to win the war with the support of Nigerians. Acting Chairman, EFCC.
Kilometer walk kicked off from EFCC headquarters in Wuse 2 through Ade-Tokunbo Ademola Road, Millennium Park to the Federal Secretariat and the National Assembly Gate. The acting chairman of EFCC, Ibrahim Magu, who led in the walk, enjoined Nigerians to support the campaign as the commission is set to bring to book all corrupt people.
The EFCC has proven that there is no sacred cow in the fight against corruption. Even in your sleep, you must fight corruption. You must free this country from the grip of corruption. The fight against corruption, we Nigerians must take it over. That the fight against corruption, if it doesn't succeed, then all of us Nigerians will be at the receiving end.
This work against corruption campaign is to raise awareness on what people should do to fight corruption. There is something you can do to support the fight against corruption. At least take a walk, support, fight against corruption. Aiding our justice, NTA News.
The Senate Committee on Power has expressed dismay over the modification of the original plan of the ongoing Kaduna 215 megawatts power project. This was at an oversight function to the project site in Kaduna. Abdullahi Mohammed reports.
The 215 megawatt power project is expected to be driven by 8 turbines. The initial plan was to power the turbines by a gas pipeline from Calabar. This plan never saw the light of the day. While inspecting the project, the Senate Committee on Power was told that effort is now concentrated on completing only 2 of the 8 turbines, which will run on diesel. This didn't go down well with the committee.
And so when we now relate using diesel to run this plant, we know that the cost of running this plant will not be affordable.
The answer they have given to that is that they are likely to only commission and start up the plant with diesel while they look forward into going back to LNG.
The committee was also at the National Power Training Institute in Kaduna, where it challenged the Acting Director General Ahmed Bolaji Nagode to inculcate private sector approach in its partnerships with its clients. While at the Nigeria Electricity Management Service Agency, NEMSA, the committee was emphatic on the need to ensure that Nigerians are not shortchanged through the deployment of uncertified prepaid meters.
So NEMSA has promised that they can step up their activities.
Nigerians are becoming aware now that if they do not seal NEMSA's seal or NEMSA's label on the meter, it shows you that that meter has actually not been tested.
And those who are professionals in that field would definitely have capacity building program whereby they will become certified.
The visit of the committee to the National Power Training Institute NAPTIN, the Nigeria Electricity Management Service Agency NEMSA, and the Kodenda Power Project was part of its oversight function. In Kaduna, Abdullah Muhammad, NTA News.
And still on power, the Minister of Power, Works and Housing, Babatunde Fashola, says the Buhari administration is sustaining policies that will continue to create jobs and opportunities for the people through the power sector plans by the government. Hamza Musa Makarifi reports that the minister stated this at the inauguration of a solar power generation facility in Abuja.
The project is a small deployment of rooftop solar photovoltaic panels for electricity generation. But to the minister, it is a big success story from citizens complimenting government's initiative of accelerating policy implementation on renewable energy in Nigeria. According to Fashola, about 2.3 million people in Nigeria are served by solar energy in meeting their needs of electricity. The popularity of the initiative cut across deployment as solar home systems to large harvest from mini grids across the country, as work is in progress by 12 firms to deliver 1,200 megawatts on the national grid. The minister says government will continue to encourage people and organizations to generate electricity within the stipulations of the law as part of its incremental power roadmap. Hamza Musa Magarpi, NTA News.
Federal government reaffirms commitment to provision of affordable houses. Sokoto Network Center has that report, and Zainab is our guide. It's good to see you, Zainab.
Good to see you too, Ogwa, and welcome. Today is observed as International Fistula Day. It is a day set aside by make them self-reliant. It was observed that apart from prolonged labor, traditional practices also add to the increase in cases of VVF in some parts of the country. In Sokoto, Sadia Umerdigi, NTA News. The Minister of State, Power, Works and Housing, Mustafa Babashira, who says the federal government is determined to fulfill its promise of providing affordable houses for all Nigerians. The minister stated this while inspecting some housing projects in Birnin Kebbi, the Kebbi state capital. Muhammad Nasir completes the report.
The minister, who inspected the construction of 76 number houses being constructed under the National Housing Program, said the project has a multiplier effect on the well-being of Nigerians. He said apart from creating jobs for thousands of youth, it will also provide income for petty traders, especially women, adding that the houses are for all Nigerians with sources of income.
I think for all the states I have gone so far, this stands to be, I think, I'll rate it first. Because the number of buildings that have reach, the roping stage. I mean here.
Alhaji Mustapha Baba Shehu recommended the Kebbi State government for its support to the project, which according to him is unequal across the country. The Kebbi State Commissioner of Works, Alhaji Atiku Bunu, who received the minister, reiterated the support of the Kebbi State government to the project. He said already contracts have been awarded for provision of road network in the area. The minister also interacted with contractors, laborers, and suppliers on site, who expressed their appreciation on the federal government for citing the project. The minister was also on courtesy call to the Kebbi State governor and was received by the deputy governor, Alhaji Sama'ila Yombe Dabai, who appealed for speedy completion of federal government project in the state. In Birnin Kebbi, Muhammad Nasir, NTA News.
The Nigeria police has reaffirmed its determination to protect the lives and property of the citizenry. Inspector General of Police Ibrahim Idris made the confirmation at the commissioning ceremony of a police station at Samia village in Turere local government area of Sokoto State. Sheikh Muhammad Dati completes the report.
Samia village in Turere local government is bordering Bukuyum and Gumi local governments in Zamfara State. The area has over the years suffered from the attacks of armed bandits and cattle rustling. Inspector General of Police Ibrahim Idris, represented by AIG Zone 10 Yakub Usman, said the police is committed towards ensuring the safety of lives of the people, while assuring constant supervision of the men and officers posted to the station. The AIG called on people of the area to assist the police with useful information that can help in curtailing crimes in the area.
I wish to extend my sincere appreciation for this laudable gesture. This is indeed a dear demonstration of a prevailing cordial relationship.
Commissioner of Police Muhammad Abdul Qadri warned officers and men posted to the news station to respect human rights, individuals they come across in the discharge of their duties. He also warned them against corruption and corrupt tendencies that can tarnish the image of the force.
We should know now that everybody knows his rights, and
Well, we seem to have technical hitches there from our Sokoto Network Center. We'd like to remind you that you can watch this news live online via the NTA mobile app, which you can download on your Android device at the Google Play Store or at the Apple Store if you use devices with iOS. We'll pause for some messages now. Nationwide returns shortly. Stay with us.
Change does not just happen. You and I, and all of us, must appreciate that we all have our part to play if we want to bring change about. We must change our lawless habits, our attitude to public office, and public trust. We must change our unruly behavior in schools, hospitals, marketplaces, motor parks, on the roads, in homes and offices. To bring about change, we must change ourselves by being law-abiding citizens.
Boosting agricultural production, the thrust of the Buhari administration. How far? That's the focus on NTA Tuesday Live. We x-ray the gains and challenges in the sector. NTA Tuesday Live. Incisive, educative, and informative. Join us.
Hi, my name is Shego Arinde, and Nigeria is my country. A country of 180 million hard-working people. In more advanced countries like the UK, the US, Canada, lottery has produced billionaires in big lottery money. And several charities have gotten funding from lottery plays. If we all play lottery, we can together produce millionaires and billionaires in Nigeria. And that can be. With give and take, everyone who plays with little has equal opportunity of winning big money. Give and take. Win big, live your dreams.
TV Guide magazine is out with fabulous Fab Funke Akindele Bello, aka Jennifer, adorning the cover. She opens a secret not known even to her family. Find out the secret. NTA turns 40 this year. The challenges, the emerging trends in broadcasting, and the way forward. Weekend Dealer 2. Meet the team behind the biggest deal on NTA. Is food still the way to a man's heart? If not, what else? This edition is hot and juicy. Meet your star faces on screen. Entertainment, fashion, young minds, social media, and great personality.
This is idiosyncratic and heterodox.
Yes, Professor John Bull is on the radar. Find out what makes this program the rave of the moment on NTA Network. And for the Prof,
over and out.
TV Guide. Ask your vendors or book your copy at every NTA station nationwide. TV Guide, still your indispensable companion.
My name is Hadiza Mohammed from Bauchi. I'm one of the beneficiaries of Empower program. Yes, I graduated since 2010. The little money I got from my NYSC, I decided to start something with it. That is, I started selling firewood and recharge cards to take my family, my aged parents, and my siblings to school. I was possessed to one village. You understand? You know, I'm a degree holder, so I don't have much experience in teaching. So I have to, when I look at the children, I say, look, I have to do this thing. Even those that have experience, they are not better than I do. You know, the children are willing to come to school, but there are no teachers in that village. So I said, Kai, let me help these children. I'm also a graduate. Let me help them. Let them know how to read and write. Let them know how to read and write just the way I am. Let me try my best and see that they have gained something too, through me. We pray that Almighty Allah should give the president sound health.
The StarTimes Combo Decoder is here for you. An advanced technology from StarTimes that combines the dish and antenna both in one decoder. This decoder is packed with all your favorite news and entertainment channels like Fox, Fox Life, IDX, National Geographic Channel, Star Plus, BBC, Al Jazeera, POP, live matches on ST World Football, and over 120 exciting channels. Get the StarTimes Combo Decoder for just 13,900 Naira and enjoy great entertainment for the entire family. So, go ahead, eat your cake and have it with the StarTimes Combo Decoder. StarTimes. Enjoy digital life.
This is television reborn. Enjoy more than 200 channels. No decoder needed. The real digital TV is here. StarTimes Digital TVs.
Thank you for staying tuned. The House of Representatives has received executive communication from the presidency requesting the inclusion of Development Bank of Nigeria and the Fund for Agricultural Financing in Nigeria in the 2016 to 2018 External Borrowing Plan. A bill for an act to establish on-the-spot anti-doping agency was thereafter considered and passed for second reading. National Assembly correspondent Ignatius Nkwo has more.
After Speaker Yakubu Dogara had read the presidential request to include the Development Bank of Nigeria and funds for agricultural financing in Nigeria to members, well, the House now went straight to the other paper of the day where it considered a number of bills, and one of them is a bill for an act to establish the Sports Anti-Doping Agency in Nigeria. Well, in 2005, Nigeria became signatory to the World Sports Anti-Doping Agency Code. Well, that particular agency is to check the abuse of drugs by sportsmen and women. And today, members of the House of Representatives are now trying to establish such agency in Nigeria to ensure that sportsmen and women in Nigeria are protected from drug abuse. The sponsor of that bill is Representative Deri Doye from Bayelsa State.
Well, the bill seeks to bring in what is internationally accepted into the country, which, like you rightly pointed out, has been on since 2005. under the leadership of President Olusegun Obasanjo. And what we are doing here is to ensure that we comply with the international standards so that we will not fall victim, like you saw in the case of Russia recently in the Rio Olympics, and then recently Kenya.
A member from Adamawa State, Representative Adamu Kamale, today defected from the People's Democratic Party, PDP, to the All Progressives Congress, APC.
Ignatius Nkwo there from the National Assembly. Experts on Good Morning Nigeria program have listed lack of confidence among teachers and learners as one of the leading factors responsible for examination malpractice. Aisha Uba Ali reports that the analyst suggested stringent punishments, including naming and shaming perpetrators, to check the menace.
Cheating and other exam malpractices in public examination assumed alarming proportion in Nigeria, which forced concerned authorities to adopt measures aimed at curbing the menace. But the problem seems to defy solutions. Continue to beat such measures, thereby threatening the credibility of Nigerian examinations and certificates. JAMB Registrar Professor Ishak Oluyede, who described the menace as an institution, said he is ashamed to own up the magnitude of the situation.
I believe that the society is not prepared to combat. People talk about examination malpractice when they are not the beneficiary. It appears to me are not even listening to the examination bodies.
No attempt, no system, no arrangement will seem to succeed when there's so much pressure, by people to want to get into the universities, to want to get into the polytechnics or into the other institutions of their choices. So this is one of the major factors.
And I report corruption before ICPC. But if these exam bodies, these commissioners for education and some of these exam bodies announce some of these statistics, I believe the anti-corruption agencies, on the basis of that, can ask them to look, can we have the details of this?
Former Registrar of NECO, Professor Promise Okpala, is of the opinion that emphasis should be paid to preventive rather than curative measures to tackle the problem.
To do with preparation of students and learners, both state, local government and federal. They should synergize their efforts with public examination bodies like JAMB and NECO and use the data from JAMB and NECO periodically to understand the real roots of examination malpractice. If we don't want to treat the causes of examination malpractice at its root, if we continue to lay emphasis on who is caught and what you have done to him, the students will continue in this business. Those supporting them like parents will continue because it's maximally lucrative.
The guests were unanimous that Nigerian education system risks being destroyed if cheating and other malpractices are not tackled. They suggested that the society as a whole should be in the vanguard for rescuing the future generation from the clutches of this social evil. In Abuja, Aisha Uba Ali, NTA News.
The federal government says it will do everything possible to ensure the recharge of the Lake Chad, which has dried up to 90%. Minister of Interior, Lieutenant General Abdurrahman Dambazau, stated this in Abuja when he received a 16-man delegation from the Indian National Defense College, New Delhi, India. KG Busari Ahmed reports that the minister stated that the Lake Chad accounts for the livelihood of over 30 million people in the region.
Of the livelihood of over 30 million people within the region. By drying up, those 30 million people have lost these sources of livelihood. Not long ago, Nigeria sponsored about $5 million for a kind of a study on how this lake can be recharged.
General Dambazau, however, said Nigeria may require international assistance to carry out the total recharge of the Lake Chad. The Indian High Commissioner to Nigeria, Sri Reddy, said India will continue to collaborate with Nigeria in the area of security. On the recent manhandling of some Nigerian students in India, the High Commissioner said action is being taken against the perpetrators of the act.
Deplorable incidents of where there were criminal acts against few Nigerian students, and the government of India at the highest level has initiated action, and they've already arrested a number of people who have been involved in these cases.
He said measures have since been taken to forestall future occurrence. And now to security, the Nigerian Army says it will continue to improve the capacity of its personnel for more success in its various theaters of operations. The Chief of Army Staff, Lieutenant General Tukur Buratai, stated this at a conference for Infantry Corps at the Armed Forces Commanders Staff College, Jaji. Ahmed Muhammad Usman reports.
The infantry is a very important arm of the Army as it marks the beginning of comprehensive skill-based training for soldiers. It is very challenging and holds over 60% of the entire Nigerian Army workforce. The current development in the military is the reason behind for the conference. The Chief of Army Staff, Lieutenant General Tukur Buratai, represented by Major General Rashid Yusuf, observed that the conference, which is the first of its kind, is aimed at providing opportunity for infantry officers to provide meaningful ideas aimed at improving professionalism, discipline, loyalty, and dedication to service.
The current global challenge is asymmetric warfare, and asymmetric warfare has no boundary. It's not conventional, and we need to be able to respond adequately. And these are part of the issues that we are going to look at.
With the theme Nigerian Army Infantry yesterday, today, and tomorrow, the Maiden Infantry Conference will not only involve presentation and deliberations, but also include Chief of Army Staff interaction with the officers towards achieving professional infantry corps. In Kaduna, Haman Muhammad Usman, NTA.
A former presidential aspirant of the All Progressives Congress in the 2015 general elections, Mr. Sam Nda Isaiah, has advised Nigerian youths to imbibe the habit of reading to develop individually and as a nation. Mr. Isaiah was the guest speaker at the leadership clinic organized by a body called Guardians of the Nation International. Political correspondent Abdullahi Garba Kudu reports.
Number one, sir.
As the saying goes, learning is beyond the four walls of a classroom, which is why this large number of youth gathered here to take lessons on leadership skills. Mr. Sam Nda Isaiah, who is also the chairman of Leadership newspaper, went down memory lane on how he surmounted challenges to make the newspaper break even. He encouraged the younger ones to be innovative, focused, and always invest in books.
Fear, even everybody has fear, but it is overcoming the fear and going ahead to do what you think is possible. And when you don't succeed the first time, you try again. There's no shame in failing. You try again and again and again, and you succeed.
The convener, Mr. Linus Okori, said the training will be carried to all parts of the country, while the participants describe it as worthwhile.
Young people must take the opportunity of stepping out of their comfort zone, to move a little bit out of their comfort zone and begin to stretch, to learn in order to improve themselves.
Living here inspired with the ability to take risk. Taking risk is all about having your courage. You have to be courageous.
200 youth at the event volunteered to participate in a 52 weeks leadership training to be organized by Ogotni. In Abuja, Abdullahi Garba Kudu, NTA News.
Meanwhile, concerned with the growing level of unemployment among teaming graduates, Kano State government has initiated a technical empowerment program to train 150 youths for skill acquisition at vehicle assembly plant in Kaduna. Muhammad Lawal Baba reports.
These are some of the unemployed graduates who are presently undergoing skill acquisition program at the plant. They are mainly from the less privileged homes across the 44 local government areas of Kano. The objective is to lift them out of abject poverty so that eventually becomes employers of labor.
To teach me this work of mechanic, so I'm very happy.
I feel happy
I thank God for the governor.
Kano State Commissioner for Information, Muhammad Garba, who represented Governor Abdullahi Umar Ganduje, encouraged the trainees to be good ambassadors of the state while undergoing the training.
At the end of it all, we also agreed that we should empower them with necessary tools. Those who have specialized in painting, we give them painting materials. Those who have specialized in welding, among other automobile activities.
This is the second batch of youths from across the state undergoing the skill acquisition program. They are expected to be trained on welding, panel beating, painting, and other auto-related mechanical skills in Kaduna. Muhammad Lawal Baba, NTA News.
Well, efforts at strengthening diplomatic relations between Nigeria and Ethiopia have remained top priority of the two countries. Ethiopian ambassador to Nigeria, Samia Zakaria Gutu, gave the indication when diplomatic community joined the Ethiopian mission to celebrate its National Day in Abuja, Nigeria's capital. Justin Bem Unyi reports.
On the east of the continent is Ethiopia, and on the west lies Nigeria. The two most populous countries on the African continent, with common interests in the consolidation of their bilateral relations, have had a long-standing relations even before Nigeria became independent in October 1960. They are both multi-ethnic, multi-religious and federal democracies. From their earliest diplomatic dealings, they have enjoyed warm bilateral relations built on cooperation in political, social, cultural, and economic spheres. As the oldest independent country in Africa marks its National Day, an anniversary of the overthrow of the military regime and emergence of a democratic system in Ethiopia, it is expected that ties with Nigeria would become stronger.
Of course, the economic ties in investment in trade is expected to grow from time to time. I would like to express my appreciation to the government of Nigeria for what it's doing to address country's challenges. The administration's bold measure to uproot corruption, which impedes the country's growth, is highly commendable. It's also appropriate to laudable the government for its effort in addressing security challenges of the country.
I want to assure Ethiopia of renewed desire and intention to continue our relationship with this country.
The warm interaction between the diplomatic community in Abuja at the instance of Ethiopian embassy was a show of love and expression of sustained relationship for the two countries. In Abuja, Justin Bem Unyi, NTA News.
And now sports. Gymnastic Federation of Nigeria elects technical and athletes representatives on the board as Vincent Tok of Ghana claims the West Africa Golf Tour at the Dennis and Elizabeth Memorial Championship in Owerri, Imo State. Deinde Sani is our guide on Sports Update.